Since 1992, Genesis House has been helping real people heal from addiction on their private recovery campus in beautiful Palm Beach County, Florida. Their family-owned program is accredited by the Joint Commission and offers detox and dual diagnosis treatment in a comfortable and confidential setting. At Genesis House, they focus on treating the underlying causes of addiction. Their comprehensive approach includes psychiatric care, individual and small group therapy, trauma healing techniques, and holistic care including yoga, massage, and animal-assisted therapy. After treatment, their clients enjoy the lifelong support of a nationwide network of Genesis House alumni. Call Genesis House today at 1-800-737-0933 to speak with someone who understands. Visit them on the web at www.genesishouse.net. It's time to start your journey to a long and successful recovery.
Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, presents the Friends in Recovery Saturday Shares, as they share their stories about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery.
My name is John, and I am an addict. And tonight I got a couple topics that are putzing through my mind, one based on something I heard today. That apparently we are brainwashed people. It was mentioned by one of our fellows to another fellow that they didn't want to be brainwashed into this. But the person is seeking our help in our recovery. So I don't know how everyone else feels about that. There's lots of stigma sometimes attached to the 12-step fellowships, that it's a cult, that what you tell your sponsor isn't really a secret, because then your sponsor is going to tell their sponsor, and that sponsor is going to tell their sponsor, and so on and so on and so on. And eventually it's going to come around the evil vicious circle and get back to you. That's a freaking myth. So far as I know, anything I tell my sponsor is held in the strictest of confidence. And whatever's told to me is held in the strictest of confidence. And how I resolve any issues that I may have with it is based on my relationship with my higher power. We all know that, I think, we have a daily reprieve from our addiction based on our spiritual condition and how that's going on a daily basis. And if I'm right with that spiritual condition, one, I get through the day without having the thought of a drink or a drug. Two, the day is going to be a success because I'm not going to pick up a drink or a drug. And I will take my worst day sober than I ever did in my best day drinking. So if you want to call me brainwashed, that's fine. All I know is that the way my brain was working before, it wasn't good. My mind, and still is to a certain extent, flawed. I have flaws because I'm human. I have flawed thinking because of what years of alcohol use did to me, where how I sought to self-medicate my problems away. And so I can tell you that being brainwashed, if you will, into this process is the best damn thing that ever freaking happened to me. So how did I get to be brainwashed? Well, in the how it works of AA, and in the how it works of NA, although NA cuts to the chase at the very beginning by saying that if you want what we have to offer and are willing to go to any lengths to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. So what lengths am I willing to go to get brainwashed? Well, first, I got to practice step one, in my opinion, perfectly. Out of the 12 steps, that's the one you got to do right 100% of the time 100% of the days that you're on God's green earth. You know, if I don't admit that I'm powerless over my addiction, that my life is unmanageable, if I lose sight of that and if I lose touch of that, a drink is right around the corner. And I can guarantee you the reason I've lost sight of that is because the relapse process was already well underway and that I've decided a drink is going to fix this. When I know, because I worked that step, that it is not going to fix it. I'm willing to go to the lengths of the second step of coming to believe that a higher power can restore me to sanity. And then the third step of making a decision, a conscious decision to turn my will and my life over to the care of that higher power. I've also heard it cliched that this is an inside job and that it's a self-help and a self-improvement program. And what it really is a self-abandonment program. Okay? You have to lose sight and get rid of all of what was yourself. Abandon that, turn it the freak over to your higher power. And that is going to help me stay away from a drink or a drug. I mean, when I hear somebody say that they don't want to be brainwashed, quite frankly, the person who said it, all I can do is be there for that person. Otherwise, I've kind of lost all hope for them. And I hate to do that to anybody. I hate to feel that way. Because if I lose hope that someone will get this, what hope do I have for myself? And it is a hard pill to swallow that, you know, we pray at the end of our meetings usually for the still sick and suffering addict and alcoholic inside and outside the rooms. You know, just because we're in this program doesn't mean we're better just like that. You know, shit happens, life shows up, and the only choice we have is how to respond. I went to incredible lengths when I was drinking to get the alcohol. In my particular case, I took my son to the liquor store with me. Yeah, for those of you who may have thought you were the only one, you weren't. I walked to the liquor store with him. I took the bus to the liquor store with him. You know, I left him at home to go to the liquor store in the apartment. And then flipped the freak out when he disobeyed me, when I told him to sit still and he hadn't. You know, I would beat my kid for no reason. For whatever he did yesterday, for whatever he did last week, you know. And I eventually came to realize that that doesn't freaking work. By hurting him, all I'm doing is really hurting myself. You know, and I had already done enough damage by putting the alcohol into my system. So I don't regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it, as the big book says. I know what happened. I'm kind of unfortunate in that when I drank, blackouts weren't a thing for me. I have vivid detail of everything that happened to me while I was drinking. The highlights and, more importantly, the lowlights. So, the lengths I go to today, one, I don't do that shit anymore. The way I get to not doing that shit anymore is by working this program. admitting that I am powerless. Self-forgiveness has become a big part of my freaking life in the past 2 years and such. That, yeah, I'm an emotional Irishman, but I have the tools nowadays to not let those emotions get the better of me, to not let those emotions rule what I am going to do and what I'm going to think and what I'm going to say. The emotions are there, but they don't dictate who I am anymore. If I have an emotion and I think I'm going to run away with it, I stop. I pray. I ask myself quietly, what is this going to accomplish? Is there a better way that I can do this? Is there an ideal way to do this? And the answer is miraculously come, like I said in the promises. It just happens, you know? So I don't know about the rest of you, but the lengths I would go to for my recovery are the same lengths that I would have gone to use. You know, anything. I don't say no when I'm asked to do something. I send regrets when I can't do something, you know, much as I would love to. But I realize that I'm just another sick and suffering alcoholic and addict who needs help on a daily basis and reaches out when I need help. So I'm John. I'm a grateful, recovering, going to any lengths brainwashed addict. Thank you for letting me share.
That concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery Saturday Shares.